There's a moment early in Vinland Saga that people remember for the wrong reason. Thorfinn's father, Thors, refuses to fight, not out of weakness, but because he's already seen where the warrior's path ends. Most viewers clock this as backstory. It's actually the whole show's argument, planted before the story even starts. Thor's already lived the ending Thorfinn spends 100 episodes walking toward, the hard way. That's worth sitting with as an analogy, because it's not really a Viking story at its core. It's an addiction story. Violence in this show behaves exactly like a substance. It gives Thorfinn purpose, focus, even comfort, in the exact moments his life is falling apart. And like any addiction, it demands more overtime to produce the same effect. By the time he's numb to it, the show isn't asking, will he stop? It's asking whether there's anything left of him to do the stopping. Now look at the symbolism the show builds around land itself. Vinland, the place Thorfinn's father once described, the place he's chasing for most of the series, isn't really a location. It's referenced again and again as untouched, unclaimed, a place without war. In a story obsessed with conquest, the most radical thing the show can imagine isn't a bigger battle. It's ground nobody has to bleed for. That's why so much of the back half of the story trades swords for farm tools. The show is quite literally replacing its own iconography, scene by scene, to make its point without saying it out loud. And that's where Canute's arc becomes the mirror nobody talks about enough. He starts the story as close to a symbol of pure innocence as this world allows, and every step toward power strips another piece of that away, until he's making exactly the kind of ruthless calculations he once couldn't stomach watching. Thorfinn is a man trying to walk out of violence. Canute is a man walking into it, one justified compromise at a time. The show puts these two arcs on a collision course, specifically so you feel both directions of the same road at once. There's an old anecdote about Vikings that gets repeated constantly. The idea that raiding was just their way of life. Simple as that. Vinland Saga spends its entire runtime quietly dismantling that idea. It keeps showing you the economics underneath the violence. Who profits, who's just following orders, who genuinely believes in what they're doing, versus who's simply never been offered another option. The show isn't interested in whether Vikings were actually violent. It's interested in why violence keeps getting handed down as the only available answer, which is a much less comfortable question, and a much more modern one than the setting lets on. So if the first half of this show is about earning your trust in its violence, this half is about the show cashing that trust in. Every symbol it plants, the empty land, the father who wouldn't fight, the two boys on opposite trajectories, is pointing at the same idea from a different angle. That peace isn't the absence of a story, it's the hardest story this show ever tries to tell. If you want the Canute-specific breakdown next,